Time for the opening shot delivered by FedEx. We take a look back at a big win for Justin Leonard, who announces his arrival as the U.S. Open approaches. And yes, we head out to Torrey Pines. Tiger is back and the Open is here. All that and more coming up on the opening shot delivered by FedEx. And thanks for logging on to PGAtour.com for this week's edition of the opening shot delivered by FedEx. Mark Fine alongside Joe Inman this week. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Former player, so we are in the presence this week. We definitely have a guy who can tell us what it's like as we discuss the U.S. Open, and we are going to talk about that in just a second. First, though, Justin Leonard, this guy has been playing well again. He gets a win at the Stanford St. Jude Championship. How much should other players be concerned about this guy being at the top of the leaderboard a little more often?
Well, I think that Justin's got his confidence back. And when you're not the longest hitter and you don't make putts for a while, you start losing your confidence. Once you get that confidence back, I've always said, because I wasn't a long hitter, when you're 2 under and they're 2 over and you're hitting first, it doesn't matter how long they hit it. But when you're 2 over and they're 2 under and they're hitting first, now it just gets on you all the time. So when you're leading and you're out in front, you don't worry about how far they hit it. And that's what's happened to him now. He's got his head back above water, and now that hitting the ball straight and that tenacity that you see in him and that putting grit that you see in him, that's back.
All right, his head's above water, and he is back as far as the point standings are concerned, too. I shouldn't say back, because he was kind of right there, but he takes a huge leap with the win as we check into the FedEx Cup point standings.
FedEx Cup, I didn't have a chance to play in that. I sure do wish I had. What a great thing it is for the PGA Tour.
And he jumps 9 spots this
Number
week.
3.
Right?
Oh, yeah. That pretty much assures him that he'll be in. You know, if you get high enough in it, you're in the first 2 for sure. You have to play well in the first 2, but you're in the first 2 for sure.
Right.
So, this lets him know that he's got a great shot at getting to the Tour Championship.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are really going to dig in to the U.S. Open and preview that for you. Keep it right here.
So we will get that schedule revised and sent right out to you, sir.
That sounds good. Listen, I should be back in the office on Tuesday. I'd like to see an updated P&L.
Very good, sir. Yeah. We're all over it. Not a problem. Take care.
That was close. Yeah, that was close.
I can still hear you.
I think we're good. Yeah, that should do it. I think we're good.
FedEx, proudly bringing you the FedEx Cup.
Welcome back to the opening shot delivered by FedEx. Mark Fine alongside Joe Inman this week. Let's get to it. Torrey Pines, second public course to host. You put your head in your hands. A tough course. Tell us what guys, you've played it plenty of times. Tell us what they can expect at this year's U.S. Open.
Well, I played it a lot of times on the regular tour, and when we played the North and the South, it was long when we played it. Now they've just made it so long. And for a guy who's not a long hitter like me, it was a very difficult golf course.
Okay, it's long, but what else? I mean, just typical U.S. Open stuff, rough will be up.
We used to complain to the USGA, and we'd say, you're trying to embarrass the best players in the world. And their answer was, no, we're trying to identify the best players in the world.
Right.
And so if this is the line, let's say this is fair and this is totally impossible. Most tournaments are over here. At the U.S. Open, they go right there.
Right.
They go to the line of what's impossible. They want to make it the hardest, most demanding test in golf. And that's what we saw last year. We're 5 over 1. It's what we've seen at Shinnecock or you name a golf course, Southern Hills, wherever they play U.S. Opens, and now we're going to see it at Torrey Pines.
Okay, another one of the big stories this week, Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson. We know Tiger's back. These are the 2 biggest names in golf right now. They are playing together. The U.S. Open gets to pick who plays together when they start. They decided to put these guys together. Good idea or bad idea?
I think it's great for TV. I think it's very difficult for the people that are actually there because the crowd will get so big you won't be able to see much. But for TV, it's fantastic, where you get to see mano a mano right there together for 2 days with Adam Scott. If his finger isn't too bad. But if he plays, you got 1, 2, and 3 in the world, and right behind him, you have 4, 5, 6. So they paired the top players in the world right there together.
Right. It should be fun, definitely for the folks on TV. Might create a little traffic issue on the course. But, all right, all that said, Tiger's coming back. He's won 6 times here. Phil's won 3 times here. We got to make picks. Who do you like?
Well, I mean, how do you not pick Tiger? I mean, we don't know. I don't want to compare him to Big Brown, but here we are. You know, what do we have here? We don't know what we have. We don't know what his health's going to be. But if he's healthy, obviously he's the greatest player in the world and the best player that's ever played. And Phil loves the golf course. But there's going to be 2 or 3 people you haven't thought about. And I think somebody like a Boo Weekley who can hit the ball really straight is somebody I would watch. I would think Justin Leonard coming in here. You got to have somebody with some power and some straight, because in the U.S. Open, greens are important, but you have to hit the ball in the fairway.
All right, but you're going with Tiger, on record going with Tiger. I'm going to pick Phil just for fun. I think obviously these are the 2 guys who've had so much success here. He loves the West Coast. If he's going to win, if you know, there's a chance for him to beat Tiger, I would certainly think that it would be here. All right. There you have it. Great stuff. Appreciate you.
My
appreciate
pleasure.
you stepping in this week. All right, and thank you for logging on to PGAtour.com for this week's edition of The Opening Shot, delivered by FedEx. We'll see you again next week.